Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the quick update over in Syria. And the topic, the focus today is actually on the Americans. So the Americans are returning back to Syria. No surprise, or no surprise, no surprise. The Americans are actually coming back in force because the situation on the ground in Syria is looking very bad for the Americans, because their allies, the SDF and Kurds, the Kurdish forces in Syria, is under severe threat because of the the Turkish Syria relationship is actually warming up, and they're going to have higher and higher level talks, which will probably result in some kind of peace deal or alliance to fight against the rebels within Syria, as particularly talking about the SDF. So the SDF have been trying to play nice, and they have been negotiating with the Syrian government, and they are trying to make some kind of deal to kind of make it work out so that they don't have to fight the Turkish forces. But the Turkish forces currently is making a lot of threats, and on the 14th of January, Turkey announced that they are still open to launching ground offensive in Syria, despite that they are actually talking to Syria about some kind of peace deal. So the Americans are reportedly setting up a new base over at Ar Raqqah. So according to information from the SOHR, the Syrian Observatory of Human Rights, on the 3rd of January, the news came out was that the US has set up a new military base in Ar Raqqah between the two bridges. So these are the two bridges, and the US forces is then patrolling the city and raising the USA flag. So this time around, so this between these two bridges, the Americans are building this new base, and they are really kind of conquered Ar Raqqah without a fight, or perhaps the SDF actually gave up the city to the Americans. So the Americans now have a base around here. There is also a military base over at NL Arabi, around here. So this is actually some kind of probably a middle base to secure this Ar Raqqah region, because this is a major crossing along the Euphrates River. So it's pretty important for the Americans to hold this position. The Americans also have a reinforcement reported at Ash Shaddadi base on the 15th of January, being reported there is armored vehicles, fuel tankers that cross into the region from Iraq. And so this is Al Shaddadi, and this is a military base around here. So the Americans are actually making more and more sending more and more reinforcement into Syria, and the reinforcement is also reported on the 9th of January, with reinforcement reported in the Hasakah region, where nearly 100 vehicles were sent into the region. So there's a military base, there's an air base here at the Tel Beda, possible US base, and there's also another base here at Tel Beda, another one around here. So these 100 vehicles probably will operate through these two bases, because these two bases are important because the Turkish forces are here, and this would help to secure the northern border in Syria against the Turks. And the US forces here is not here to fight per se, they are here to act as a shield. So as long as they patrol with the Kurdish forces or the SDF forces, the Turkish side might not dare to hit them, because the Turks has been using a lot of drone strikes along the area. As long as the SDF is not with the Americans, they get drone strikes or they get attacked. So things are not looking that rosy, and because you can see that there is a rocket attack on the US military base at Al Omar oil field. So there's this oil field around here, which the Americans extract oil, which was attacked. And then there was another more famous attack just a few days ago on the 20th of January, where there's a drone strike. 3 kamikaze drones were launched against the US base here at El Taf. And kamikaze drones make it sound like these are Iranians, and 2 of them were actually shot down, but there was one that probably hit, but there was no casualties reported. Probably even if there is, they will still say there isn't any. And so this increased security issues, along with the increased ISIS operations around the region, maybe is one of those other concerns the Americans have, which is why they are deploying more forces into the region in Syria. And some information has came out on the 31st of December. The number of US forces in Syria is numbered around 900, and mostly in the northeastern part of Syria, which is the yellowish part, this entire half of Syria. And however, they are expected, along with the Kurdish forces, to look after 30,000 ISIS troops that are in captivity between in Syria and in Iraq. So 10,000 ISIS leaders and fighters with which is actually in Syria itself, and there's another 20,000 over in Iraq. I think the Iraq one, they don't need to worry too much. The Iraqi government seems to be a lot more in control. So there are still 10,000 within the Syria itself. So if this 10,000 get out, 10,000 is actually quite a huge number, and they can actually form a formidable force that the ISIS forces used to be. But of course, someone had to arm them, and I'm sure that the Americans, if they can use them, might probably want to use them someday. I'm not sure. So anyway, this is the report on the American presence, increased presence in Syria, in view of the changing geopolitics over here in the Syrian or the Levant region. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you. Do press the like button. That will help a lot. And I'll see you in the next update.